The official deep dive for UFC 6 has just been released, and here are my initial thoughts, and some things you might have missed. I want to get it out the way that there was zero mention of career mode or the new Legends mode. I expect there to be dedicated trailers for those, and I estimate we will see the trailers within the next week or two. The first thing I want to mention is, the fighter likeness is leaps and leaps above UFC 5. Alex Pereira throws his signature left hook, the exact same in the game as he does in real life. Anderson Silva moves his head in the same elusive style that he does in his real fights. I went through the trailer and it seems like at least half of the fighters shown have new animations. I am unsure on if the animations are fighter specific or just new animations in general. I did notice some fighters still use the UFC 5 animations, like Pantoja for example, which is somewhat disappointing. With how many unique animations I saw in the trailer, it's kind of surprising Pantoja doesn't have any, considering he was just the champ. They also claim over 1,000 animations have been added, but I wonder how noticeable it will be. They claim something similar with the new blood effects in the trailer for UFC 5, and how there will be so many variations, but it always seemed like the same cuts were appearing. 1,000 animations is a lot, so I expect a bigger difference than what the damage system claimed. On to the next part, which is the character models. They are a huge upgrade compared to 5. The main issue with 5 was how they used generic bodies, so everyone kind of had the same build type. But it looks like they finally fixed this glaring issue. They showed off some comparisons with the UFC 5 models against the UFC 6 models, and hopefully you guys see the jump in fidelity. All the people who complained about the beta looking the same can now be quiet. They specifically mentioned fighter idols, which makes me believe that most, if not all, fighters will have a unique idol animation. That seems a lot more plausible to me, that every fighter having unique punch animations. I think the fighter I'm most looking forward to is Jiri. He is going to be so fun to play, as with his wild and reckless style. Hopefully I play more smart with him than how he performed in his last fight. I'm still upset about that. They have now added a new head movement system and new block styles. I experienced some of these styles firsthand in the beta, and maybe I haven't played enough, but they didn't really feel that different to one another. From what I played, MVP felt the most different defensively. Sidestepping and dodging punches felt great. It really felt like I was using MVP. I tried Robert Whittaker in the beta, who had the Philly shell, and he kind of felt the same to Alex Pereira defense-wise. I'm gonna chalk it up to not having enough experience yet. Playing the game as the new block styles do seemed they would make a big difference. From the trailer, it's kinda hard to see if it's head movement being used, or a sidestep, as in one clip they mention head movement, but it looks more like Ilya is doing a sidestep. The new animations do look really good, and it's once again showing the leap from UFC 5. Next, they show off something called real-time contact. Honestly, I think they just put together a few buzzwords to make something minor seem like a big deal. It basically means that your punches land where they should, and won't glance off them like they sometimes do in UFC 5. Seems more like a bug fix than a new feature. They showed off some knockouts and they look the same as UFC 5. The one with Aljo straight up looks bad. The way they drop is fine, but they still land awkwardly into the same pose. Very disappointing. The Tito KO looks a little better, but they still land awkwardly. Please EA, bring back UFC 2 knockouts. The last thing they showed was hit reactions. These are one of the things I like the most from the beta. There are new stumbles, new leg kick reactions, and they look great. Still hoping they remove that awful body knockdown animation where they hunch over. It was in the reveal trailer, so I doubt it's gone. Now for what I think is the most controversial thing from the beta, the flow state. It seems like the fighter perks from UFC 5 are now a part of the new flow state system. A fighter gets a specific flow state perk, whilst also having 4 perks that are always active. I personally like the idea of it. However, I think they went about it wrong. The visual effects, I'm not too bothered about the arcadey style, but I would prefer a realistic take on it. The glowing gloves and area dimming seems a bit extreme. When I heard flow state originally, I thought of the UFC 2 mechanic where when you get a rock, your punch animations get wild and you're trying to finish the fight. But I was wrong. I feel like if they reduced the visual effects, it would be better. I would also like it to be something you don't activate. Flow state activating by itself, when you have huge momentum and are winning the fight, could be an interesting route to explore, but I doubt that will happen. The last thing they talk about is arena uniqueness. I didn't experience this in the beta, as only one arena was available, but we did see this in the reveal trailer. Each arena now has distinct features and lighting, which will improve the atmosphere so much. I feel like it's kind of an underrated detail that I'm glad has now been implemented. In past games, they all felt the same. The only difference being the name and logo of the arena plastered on the walls. They also mention this new audio tech, but I don't really think it's worth getting into. From what I understand, specific parts of the crowd will, for example, chant a name, rather than the sound not being directional, and it sounding like everyone is chanting it. Just as I was editing this video, I found they released an article talking about all the features. Some weren't even mentioned in the trailer, like being able to parry again, like in UFC 2. I feel like I discussed most areas. So, this is where I'll end it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more UFC 6 content. Let me know which fighter you are looking forward to use the most, with their unique likeness. Thanks for watching.